I am here. This is X35 Earthwalker, the one true Earthwalker, the legendary eternal soldier himself, and welcome back to another awesome podcast episode. And today we're going to be talking about Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. And oh my goodness, you guys already know what I think about this game. You've seen the live streams, you've seen the videos, you've seen the comments I've made and stuff like that. It's quite clear. This is not going to be a review of the game. I'm going to do that later. We're going to talk about some, more things in specific, talk about certain characters, talk about some complete bullcrap BS boss battles. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Simon, and all that kind of stuff. I'll be talking about that later. But yeah, right off the bat, I can easily say this is like an 11 out of 10 game. I know 10 out of 10 is the highest scale, but dear gosh, it deserves the 11. And few games deserve that 11. It's absolutely amazing. Had a huge blast. I got over 70 hours in the game. And I've done everything. I've done all the end game stuff. I fought the giant snake thing in the sky who swallows all your action points and it explodes if he swallows too much. I beat Simon. Yes, I beat him. And it doesn't matter if you can beat Simon or not. You're still allowed to give your opinion on the game. I beat Clair and all that kind of stuff. For this episode, I just want to focus on the endings. That's all I want to focus and talk about because it's gone completely out of hand. Some people straight up saying there's a bad ending, it sucked, they dropped the ball. And you got some people who are just like, oh, I love the endings. But the main thing people are talking about is what's the good ending and what's the bad ending. And people have gotten into online scraps over this. Like, guys, I am not, you know me, I don't cap. Unless I want to tell a joke or something like that. Right now, okay, I've just gone on my phone. It's a Steam community page. And you know I don't care for Steam community, but I just wanted to read this. And let me give you all the context of how crazy this is. I'm on page 34 of this general discussions for the topic of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. And it's right now, this page about is showing 496 of to 510 of 603. I was traveling and reading through this, seeing people's arguments to and fro, going back and forth with each other, and some people even getting emotional. How ironic, as you're gonna see, over these decisions and like the choice, because it comes down to two endings. Basically, is Mayel's ending or Verso's ending? That's all it is. Like these silly like gaming outlets try to make it sound like there's multiple endings. Like, let's go over the different endings. Like, sucker, it's two endings. Just say it's a couple, and they're both deep. And they both take you in completely different directions. And I'm just going to say right out the gate, I don't agree to people who say, oh, there is no good ending and this is all wrong. All right. There is a clear good ending and then there's a bad ending. And if you want to say they're both bad endings, well, one is clearly way worse than the other. But I think it is a good ending and a bad ending. People want to say, oh, it's not black and white. Sucker, yes, it is. I am not confused about any of these things. And the funny thing about all like this ending, like these guys have been arguing. We're gonna get into that, but like the main thing I'm seeing when it comes to these two endings, and I'm gonna go over what they are briefly because remember, I'm gonna like if you haven't figured it out by now, I'm gonna be talking about the endings. That's an obvious spoiler. If you haven't figured it out, up your wisdom, bro. Get up out of here. Go play the game for yourself. It's amazing. Don't rob yourself of that experience and the twists and the developments, all that stuff. Go play it for yourself. You hear me? Go play it for yourself, you bum, and then come back. Because I'm the, it is. So a bit of background, I do debates, I do apologetics, I do polemics, so like this kind of stuff and going back and forth and listening and answering, that's kind of my jam, for sure is what I've done, and for the glory of Jesus Christ, stuff like that. So I love these kind of things. I love to see it. I can see who's being emotional, who's being logical, who's making a good point, who's contradicting, who's sidestepping, who did a straw man, who's like, I can see it in the whole Steam thing. And this is just a Steam. I wonder how many people are discussing this in Reddit pages and stuff like that. It's crazy. So let's quickly go over the endings. We'll start with Versos. Versos one, you pick at the end, you have to decide who's are you going to fight as. Either be Mayel to fight and take down Verso so that she gets her way, or Verso take down Mayel so that he gets his way. And if Verso takes down Mayel, the short version, she gets booted out of the canvas, and now she's out of the canvas because the mother is already out of the canvas. Then the canvas basically gets destroyed. It's wiped out. Everything in there is like gone, reset, get them up out of here, whatever you want to call it. And that painting fake world is gone. And everyone's out now. All the real people are out. the whole family, obviously, real Verso's dead, and because he died, you know, the fire, the writers, all that, and they grieve. They stand by his grave, and you know, husband and wife are hugging, and Claire puts down flowers. Mel standing there, and then she sees like her characters who she loves waving at her like, "Hey, good luck, you've got this, never forget you," you know, kind of thing, looking like, kind of gives me a fairy tale like vibe, like from fairy tale anime. And that's it. And there's like, she actually smiles even with her wound. You can see she's smiling, and she accepts this. And like, yeah, you kind of got no choice, but you know, accept this. And the family, you learn to grieve. They accept the death of Verso, and they see like, move on, and Verso can rest basically. Whereas then the Mayel path, she beats Verso. Verso begs her, don't repaint me, don't bring me back, let me die. And she's like, no, you're gonna be happy, don't worry. And then he cuts to there, like, I think the theater, and Verso, the recreated fake Verso, comes in. He's gonna play the piano for the people. He's like, he struggles with himself, like he doesn't want to do this. You can see he's not happy, but he's like, all right, time to put on the show, kind of thing. Goes in there, sits and plays, and you see with Mayel that you can see like the ink, like the paint around her eyes thing, which shows she's like decaying, kind of like what was happening with Aline, the mother, and Renoir after them being there for so long. But they're way stronger than Mayel is, obviously, Alicia. You see that she's decaying, just how Renoir said, you stay in there too long or whatever, you are eventually going to die, because Mayel does not want to leave. She wants to live the rest of her days here in this fake canvas world. She doesn't want to leave. I mean, she will eventually die, but she's happy with her friends, her painted friends, and you know, the Verso, Ciel, Lune, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it ends like that. Now, some people want to say, oh, there is no, again, people want to say like those are the two endings, and people want to say there is no real like definite ending and stuff like that. I mean, people are quoting, oh, the developers said that, and it said there's no good ending. That's a lie. All right, I've already looked into this. People always like, they hear something and then they summarize it to like suit their argument. No, the developers never said there is no good ending. What you have is the personal opinion of one person on the developer team. Is that when people talk about One Piece and say, oh, this artist says that Luffy was straight up lose to this, or you know, something like that, and it's like, when you check, it's just one of the artists. It's like, it's not Oda himself, it's not a co-founder of One Piece, it's not someone who, like, no, it's just an artist. So that means the artist is just giving his opinion on what he thinks. That's all it is. And even if it was from the developer isn't always right, as I've proved before when it comes to versus battles of certain fictional characters and their feats and stuff like that. The developers can still be wrong by something or not realize something. So it's just like writers and authors, but whatever. Here it is. And this is according to, I think, Jennifer Svedberg Yen. There's a hyphen between the Yen and Svedberg, or Vedberg, or whatever it's pronounced. Can't trust the French. Anywho, this is her. This is what she says. Quote, for me personally, she starts off with that. For me personally. So not what the lead game designer of Sandfall Interactive said. No, not what he said. Not the buddies he originally started the idea and this dream of the game with. Not them. Her oneself, the writer, lead writer, by the way. For me personally, she helps, basically she's on the work with the script and everything. This is not her dream, it's not her idea. She's working with the top guys. For me personally, there's no canon ending. So that's just a personal opinion. Just how I can have a personal opinion, just how you can have a personal opinion. So people say the developers said there is no good ending. That's cap. The developers, plural, have not said anything. The lead writer just gave her a personal opinion. So let's just get that out of the way. She said, I think it's very specifically something we wanted people to. It's not meant to be an easy choice. For me, it was. It's not meant to be an obvious choice. Remember, I've been called smartest person in the world, so maybe for my intelligence, it is easy. And it's okay if some people feel there's an obvious choice. Thank you. That's totally cool. I am cool. If players feel they gravitate towards one or the other, that's great. But that's really up to the player based upon who they identify with, based on their own lives and perspectives. What feels, keyword, feels right to them. Once again, we're getting up in feelings. And that's quite ironic if you understand the story. So for me, straight off the bat, I'm just going to say the good ending is Verso's ending. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's Verso's ending. is Verso's ending? Let's just go over a number of things. I just really want to talk about this. And you guys already know the X35 Earthwalker podcast style. I don't have any script. Sorry, lead writer Jennifer. Unlike you, I don't have a script. I don't have no fancy notes. I'm just talking with y'all straight to straight. That's how you know I got no script. I'm getting my words wrong sometimes. I'm talking to y'all just like face to face. We're sitting at across the table at a cafe, and we're just having a conversation. I'm just talking to y'all. That's the style it is. So I might make mistakes or gaps. I don't have a script, right? You can look up for yourself. You're on the internet. Research for yourself, you bum. Don't get lazy, right? It's easily Verso. These two endings, it comes down to that classic old school battle of heart versus mind, and feelings versus logic. That's what it seems to come down to, because the people who agree with Verso, they just give a simple, straight up, sometimes 2-line answer, a calm, logical response as to why Verso's right, and then they're done. They said their piece. Whereas the people who picked Mayel's side, for the most part, they're out here typing dysenteries. They're typing out entire assessments, lectures, essays, and they're like doing a lot of, I have to say it, mental gymnastics to show why they believe their part is right. And just off the rip, I can see a difference between the two. And one is just staying focused and sticking to the facts. The other one's more like, again, like the lady said, what you feel is right. They're getting into feelings. And I guess that's why they're feeling with Mayel. Come feel with me, as that song said. It's how they feel. And it's just like that battle. It's like, are you the person who sits there, calmly examines the whole thing, sits back, and it's like, that's A, that's B, and therefore I'm going with B. Well, the people going Mayel, it's like, no, that's not right. How could you? They have feelings. That's not right. I saw someone on the Mayel side straight up calling people who picked Verso's side genociders and genocide supporters. I'm just like, what the heck? That's one of the most annoying things about the whole Muslim terrorist group Hamas versus Israel situation is everyone's now throwing around the word genocide and they don't even know what it means. Genocide does not apply in Expedition 33. It simply doesn't. Do you know the definition of the word? It's just emotions talking. And one guy straight up just said in the comment saying, it's simple. He says, adults pick Verso, children pick Mayel. And I was like, that's so blunt, but low-key, what I'm looking at reading, it sounds true. Which is funny because Mayel is a 16-year-old. She's still got a lot to learn. And the fact she's a girl as well, so more emotions on top. And she's in her feelings. That's the whole decision making for her. It's her feelings. Whereas Verso, the adult, who's been around for like dang near like 100 years, he's more than matured. And he's just tired of things as well. And he's thinking differently. So let's go over it. With Verso, what happens is he frees his mother, get her up out of there, and she defeats Alicia Mayel to send her out to there. Why? Because if she stays in there, like she's made it clear, she's not leaving. Verso also recognized that Renoir saw that his little princess Mayel lied to his face, talking about I won't be here forever. You'll see me again. I will come out, and I'm just gonna be here to fix things. Renoir saw she was lying, but ultimately left the decision to her. The voice in the head must be her own, right? And Verso saw that she lied, and he called her out on it, and she got emotional. Like, no, you don't get, like, you see, she was like moved by that. It's like, because Verso caught on. Verso knew you were lying. You don't plan to leave. If you don't leave, you're going to die, and that's a waste of your life. And it's like, so he being like the big brother, and he qualifies as the big brother because remember, fake Verso, the painted Verso, he has the memories of the real Verso. So he's the closest you're going to get to a real person in the canvas besides the real people who entered, like Mayel. And he knows that the real Verso would not want his sister to die. He does not want his family suffering. He wants them to move on and not have all this fighting, wait time and bickering and stuff going on over his death of the matter, right? Well, Mayel, she boots Verso out of there, And she stays in there and she wants to spend the rest of her life living in a fantasy made up picture painted world. And she claims she's happier there. But it's like the facade breaks because she knows the truth now. Because when she was in there, remember when she went in there with Clair's help, her mom's chroma like enveloped her, and Clair was like, stay calm. If you stay calm, it shouldn't have an effect on you. And I think Alicia panicked or something happened. And Clair was like, oh well, you're done for now. All right, just do your best when you're in there. Don't mess it up. Bye, kind of thing. And then she got painted over, and that's how she forgot that she's actually Alicia. She actually believes she was born and raised in the world, and this is her life. And that's why she's been out. Again, her whole point of thinking has come from a deception. She wasn't herself. She was over painted. So already she lost the knowledge that this isn't actually her home. This is just a made up painting world. And she lives and grows up there. And so she sees them as family, which honestly, from her perspective, they would be family. And she doesn't want to see them go because we destroy the canvas. They go as well. This creation goes. It's the last bit that contains a bit of verse or soul and stuff like that. The same kind of thing that, Aline, the mother's dealing with, is just grief. She doesn't want to let go of her baby boy. She doesn't want to let go of him. Like, if you go into Aline's journal, she even says, his little grin, so proud of his latest creation. But at least those memories remain. What hurts more are the memories unmade. The conversations we'll never have. The time we'll never spend. And that's it. It's just the fact that she's grieving. She's grieving. She doesn't want to let go of Verso because a piece of him does live inside the canvas, and she stayed in there, and it's dangerous. Renoir even made it clear that he almost died in the painting once, and it was his wife Aline that pulled him out, and he learned lessons from her. She's the one who taught him how to paint. That sucker, there's certain rules when it comes to the painting, and he remembers those. And being the husband, being the man, being the more logical, he stands by those and remember what he taught. That's what I said. I'm not going to go by what people are feeling. I'm going to go by what she taught me. He's going to go by the facts. Renoir's a facts over feelings man. And sometimes as a father, you have to tell your child, no. No, I'm not going to let you stay in here and die. I'm your dad. I'll get your 16-year-old booty out of here if I beat you. And he got jumped by her friends. So it was 1v5. they put him down into the ground, both feet in the air. And he lost that fight. And he couldn't really do as much about it. So he just hoped against hope that her lie was true and she would actually get out of the painting. And she would not. So now the big argument I've seen people come to make down about it is, are the people in the painting real or are they fake? Now the Mayo team, they are arguing that those people are real, with some saying that they're as real as the people who created them, which I think is crazy, but some of the things real. Now if you're paying attention to the game, it's obvious this world is fake. The people are fake. The people aren't real. This world came into existence because real Verso painted it. That's it. Like, if these paintings were actually just gateways, like when they paint a canvas, a world shows up in there, and it's basically like the gateway that takes you to another dimension or another universe where these real people are actually living out their lives, that would be a different argument and a different way of looking at it. But that's not the case. He creates the people in there. As you got Clair, who's got like admin level access to the server. She could just paint over certain things and create nevrons and stuff like that to sap Chromar and weaken Aline and all this kind of stuff. Well, Verso's the true founder and creator of it and is the ultimate admin authority on the matter, and stuff like that. That's why his true soul is painting. It's not a real world. It's fake. They design these people and they design these characters, and so therefore they are not real. They're not real as the people who created them. If you want a real life illustration, it's simple. Remember, not only am I a writer, not the writer group who's beefing with the painters. No, I am a writer. I've done creative writing. I've done stories. I've even written entire scripts before. I've created entire worlds and characters, given them stories, powers, relationship with other characters and stuff like that, and even development, certain battles, obstacles. Like if I was to use my power and throw you into my world, but I stole your memories of the fact that you're a real person like me, you were in there, and listen, you would say those things were real. You can touch them. You can feel them. You can punch them, get into fights, yell, argue. You can meet one, marry, have sex, child, raise, And then I just decide to reach back in with my hand like a god. I'm like, time to go, grab you. You know what I'm saying? Flashing through the sky, pull you out. And then you come out and your memories are restored the moment you leave my story. And you realize I'm a real person. You will still know, okay, it felt real to me, but this is just a creation I made. They're not real. It's fake. It's fake. And I'm a game designer also. I've made characters. I've given them personalities and characteristics and stuff like that. But it's fake. That people are really trying to say if they can think and feel and this, it's the same as because they can put up a sad face, it's therefore makes them real. No, they're not. It's clear where they come from and their origin. They didn't exist until they were painted. So if your argument is they're real people, so by getting a canvas destroyed, you're killing off all those people, that doesn't stand. And second of all, didn't Renoir already kill off everybody anyways? Like, Mayel and Verso, their group, were the only ones who got away right on SKA, the legendary SKA, and they got away. And then they came back to fight to defeat him so then they can then rebuild or repair the canvas or whatever it is. The people are already dead. So making the decision right now, well, they're not even dead because they never lived, but you know what I mean? They could make the decision to rebuild so they can bring them back. As a painter, Mayel Alicia can bring them back, but they're already gone. So your argument either way wouldn't stand. There's no one left to, quote unquote, according to them, genocide. And even if you did kill them all off, they're not real. Sucker, you can just paint another canvas and try and bring back CL and Lune and maybe make new memories with them and like not let them know that, hey, I'm your god, and don't let them know that. You just appear like someone like, oh, I was adrift at sea, my ship was broken. Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Lune, I'm CL, I'm AL. Great times, right? And you can do whatever you want. You just do whatever you want. And that's where, like, the whole it's a genocide thing, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. They're not real people. Heck, one of the games I really loved growing up and I played a lot with, even with my sister, was The Sims. Yep, what y'all know about Herbs, Sims in the City? What y'all know about that game? Yeah, that's right. That's an old school game, right? I play those games. I made characters. I gave them life. And how advanced like Sims is now, you can have Sims have characters where they have marriages and then they can have children. Children goes to school, you get a job, you train them so they get skills so they can get promotions, make money, build a house, make relationships. You do this character hates you and he remembers that he hates you. You talk to the character, make that character laugh. And it's just not, but come on, we all know Sims is not real. They're not real people. They're not real people. They're not. Like, what are we talking about here? I mean, I remember it was in the news. This lady, she was a mother though. I don't think anyone died, but it got bad where she got so sucked into like her simulation person world. Like, I think it might have been The Sims she was playing or something else. She was neglecting her actual family. Like, I think she was like not even feeding the baby or feeding her child or something like that. Like, just ignored it. She was more focused, tunnel vision on her fake simulated video game family than her actual real family. I remember everyone comments on it, talk about this woman's mentally and saying, oh, she's mad. People are like, girl, how is she so stupid? It's just a video game. You're neglecting your real family over a video game. I'm like, how ironic that you can call this grown woman stupid for putting this video game over her real family. But the Mayel people are doing the same thing. They're having Mayel choose The Sims over her family. Because remember, Aline almost died from being in that portrait for too long, that canvas for too long. And Alicia, as we saw in her ending with the pain and the decay and stuff around her eye, she's going to die too. So what's going to happen is she will die, which is more grief to the family. The wife will die, that's more grief to the family. And the only ones left would be literally Renoir and his oldest child, Clair. That's it. A family of like what was like originally 5 or whatever there is, now it's just 2. Like, the family was suffering and they matter because they are real people. I don't hear, well, the whole thing's a video games. By that perspective, Renoir and his family, that's the Descendre family. They're not real. I say, okay, let's not be idiots, all right? All these video games as video games. We're talking about within this universe of the game, not from our perspective as a player. Like, people try to shift goalposts to move their argument. Well, if you don't think the people that painting are real, then the people who painted is not real because they're in a video game. It's like, oh, of course all of this is in a video game or a book or whatever. We're talking from the perspective of the world itself. Like, stop this stupidity goalpost moving because you're losing. It's dumb. Like, don't do that. Let's talk. If we're talking from the perspective of this world being real, the painters are the real people. The paintings themselves are fake. She's picking a simulation over her family. People try to like what's the word, downplay it to be like, oh, Verso's selfish, he just wants to commit suicide. It's like, if that is honestly your argument, and I saw someone made an argument in the Steam as well, basically say it's just selfish Verso because he just wants to die. She's just going to die. Like, no, that's wrong. You can clearly see, as someone, he's the only one who has the memories of real Verso. So he's the one who knows how real Verso thinks about the situation or what he would want. He has his memories, he has how he sees each family member, and he's thinking of the family. When Renoir opened up that, like, doorway or portal or whatever, and showed what's actually happening to Aline, the mother, outside here, how she's like gasping for air, she's struggling, she can't even stand up, she's reaching her hand up, and she looks like she's weak. Like, no husband is gonna watch that and be cool. None. He says, this is what I have to see, and it pains him. He don't want to see him, his wife, and his daughter going through that. This has to stop. And while Renoir's in there trying to pull his wife out, Clair is out in the real world by herself. And what's she gonna do? She's gonna hold down family meetings. She's got to also deal with the task of hunting down the writers who caused these problems in the first place, who started the fire, and got, real Verso, her brother, who she loved, obviously, the most. She was closer with her Verso than she was with Mayel. She was to hunt them down and get justice. She's got to handle all this, and she has to do it solo because Mama, who's the head of, like, what, the Painting Association or the Painting League of Painters, like, she's a big shot. She's a fat cat. She's, like, top dog in whatever association or whatever is going on. She's not handling her duties because she's inside a painting, still grieving and clinging on to her dead son. Renoir's not there because he has to get his wife out, but because she's stronger, she's superior in terms of power of like painting, he can't beat her. He was get packed up. The only reason he's standing strong now because Clair got involved to back him up to give him some sort of advantage with the Nevrons and the sapping of Chromar from her, siphoning and stuff like that. So it's like a battle of attrition. It's like a long-term battle, which is still wasting time. I know, 6-7 years for them, but less time in the real world for them, but it's still wasting time. And then the little sister gets sucked in there and she don't remember where she came from. It's just like, all this over their son, and Verso never wanted that. That is crazy. And then I see people saying, this argument, which I also think was stupid. Oh, Mayel, you guys want Mayel to suffer. She chooses because she wants to live the rest of her days happy in the canvas world, which makes it the right choice. It doesn't matter if it's real or, one person even said it doesn't matter if it's real or fake as long as it makes you happy. And I'm just like, what kind of dumb advice is that? It doesn't matter if it's real or fake. Just do it as long as it makes you happy. My goodness, let's all suffer, hallucinations and do drugs because it makes us happy. It doesn't matter if it's real or fake. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. As long as it makes you happy. But then you want to call Verso selfish when you just gave such a selfish reason to let your family suffer and basically commit suicide because it just makes you happy. That sounds like an immature 16-year-old's choice. How ironic. That's ridiculous. And if when Mayel does die, second, the canvas is going to go as well. The canvas is going to go. Renoir and the others are not going to bust up that canvas as long as a real person is inside. If Aline, his wife, and Alicia, his daughter, then dies and they're gone, all right, now there's nobody real. It'll just bust up the canvas. So either way, the canvas is going to go. So if your argument is, oh, the people deserve to live, well, they're going to go anyway. They don't get a say in the matter. And you might think that's not nice and it's not right. It's not nice when someone doesn't get a say in something, but when something's above you, it's above you. As I said, life forces cruel choices, as he was talking about. He's to see things for what they are, not how you want them to be and stuff like that. He's basically saying, face reality. This world is not real. As I said, your friends speak truth, but it don't matter though. They're not real. Renoir even knew her story. He knew CL's story and stuff like that. Like, people, what are people talking about here? And then I heard the argument that, oh yeah, like I said, sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent. Oh, you want, like, she got to be happy in her real world. You guys want her out of the painting, so she's forced to live the life that she hates and say, oh, she has a crappy life. One person straight up said she had a crappy life. And I'm just like, crappy life? The freak you mean? If I saw that person in real life and I knew you, I think I would have slapped you, bro. That's one of the dumbest things you could say. Mayel had a crappy life? She didn't have a crappy life. They're probably, and I know they're probably referencing to like the family hating her or stuff like that. Let's first of all deal with that. The family doesn't hate Mayel. She's not in an unloving family. People make it sound like she's like Cinderella living with the ugly stepdaughters, and they like pick on her. And when she's like on all fours, like scrubbing the floor, one of her sister just kicks her, and she falls down the stairs. Like, that's not what's happening to Mayel. No, Clair is just because remember the whole Verso thing is still plaguing them. It's still bothering them. So especially the mean ladies, there's more emotions going on. She even said that Verso gave up his life for her to live. It was like, I both like love him and hate him for that. Love him because that's her outstanding of a man, noble brother Verso. That he's heroic and he will put others before himself. But she hates him because it's like, sucker, now you gone. You was my favorite. It's kind of like, why did he pick you? Like, if I had a choice, I wanted Verso to be around, kind of thing. And you know, in moments like that, when everyone's like grieving and sad and a tragedy has happened, you shouldn't say things like that. It's wrong because it hurts people. I think maybe stuff like that was shown or said out of the emotions of what just happened. It's like, for example, if you grew up with this sibling and the younger sibling came on later, you're going to be close to the sibling who's closer to you in age because you grew up together, all of that. And then the new baby of the family comes along later. So you're going to be close to the bigger one. So the bigger one gives themselves up to save the younger one. Low key, for being honest, you kind of wish sometimes it was like the other way around. Like, no, if I had to pick, I'd rather the older one live. Especially if you think the older one had more talent. She was like, at least Mayel was the worst painter in that family from what we're seeing, which makes sense. She's the younger, she has the most to learn. So by painter's world use, she'll be the least useful in that regard. And parents must never say this, but it's true. People have favorites amongst people, even your own children, because everybody's different. Some people you prefer more than others. It doesn't mean they're better than them. It doesn't mean you dislike the other one. You're going to prefer something more than the other. That's just what it is. If this child grows up and this child is fascinated with your career, follows you around, asks you questions, wants to follow your footpath, but the other child spends little time with you, they're just playing Call of Duty all the time and wants to take on a different path, you're going to feel more of a connection with a child that's always with you, wants to follow your footsteps because you can pass on direct knowledge. So that child will be your favorite even though you're not to say it. So Clair just had a favorite and she preferred Verso made it and Mayel didn't. Not that she doesn't love Mayel, it's just if she had to pick. It's like, why did Verso have to go? And Aline, the mother, never hated Alicia either. Read what it says here. Remember I started reading her first part talking about, his little grin, so proud of his latest creation. She said, the person I cannot be around is Alicia. The context, I want rage to consume me. Anything to fill the hollow, but rage won't come. She's not angry. I just float in an endless nothingness. That's how she feels. Listen to this. The person I cannot be around is Alicia. Is it because she hates her? She thinks, oh, Alicia, that bitch. Like, no, look. Her pain. She acknowledges Alicia's pain. Her pain is a broken mirror. The shards reflecting back tenfold. Do you get what that means? Reflecting back tenfold. She's in pain, yes. But her pain is reflecting back a worse pain for me. Every moment with her, so she still tries to spend time with her. Like a mother. Every moment with her that cuts deep in, I feel myself unraveling. Do you understand that? That's why she doesn't want to be around Alicia. Not because she hates her. Not because she's a bad, wicked mother. But every time she sees Alicia and she sees like the burn scar, I think it's on the right side of her face, it just reminds her of the fire and reminds her of what happened with Verso. Her precious little boy, her only son, who's going to pass on the family name, have children, and all that kind of stuff. No. It just reminds her of that, and it just inflicts pain on her. So she's not at peace. You know, that's what she said later on in this last part. She says, I know what he'll say, but this is the first time I felt any surcease. For a few moments a day, my heart beats again. So no, so people talk about Alicia has a crappy life. She's hated by the family. They bully her. You know, they drop eggs on her head and like trip up so she falls down the stairs and be like, Versa wouldn't have fallen over that. Like, no, that's not what happens. That's a lie. They don't blame her for the death, but she is responsible. She's 60-year-old. She was the easiest to manipulate, so she was being naive. She trusted the painters. I don't know whether she let them into the house because they said, oh, we're going to have a meeting. We're friends with the Painter Association. Where's your mother? And instead, they try to burn the place down. Like, okay, let's just kill her. She's easy to get. And the Versa came in and was like, sister, I got you. Picked her up, ran. And they drew out the Glocks. So pop, pop, pop. And they shot all Verso in the back. He got his sister out of there. And then he bled on the floor. It's like, live. Mayel, don't blame yourself, sis. You got what it takes. Puts a brush in her hand and then drops dead. I don't know. That's right. Instead of Steven Spielberg, X35 Earthwalker Productions, right? You get the good stuff. Steven Spielberg, he trash. I'm good. Right? Like, you get that kind of movie, right? I don't know. So he dies to protect her, and we all know that it was her mistake that led to it. So yes, indirectly, it is her fault. Like, they probably would not have been able to trick Claire. We know they wouldn't be able to try nothing around Aline and Renoir, but they were able to take advantage of the 16-year-old, and that led to Verso's death. So yes, low-key, in that moment, you are mad at Alicia's. How can you be so stupid? We don't trust the painters. There's a reason why we don't mess with them bums. And it's kind of like you're angry, and Renoir, of course, be the one who spoils. You got a soft spot for Mayel. He's there for her. He loves her, has shown that love all the way through. But once the family, canvas gone, grieves and accepts, they can go into healing. And that's why the mother was still smiling while also hugging her husband while she's there at the grave, looking at Verso's grave thing right there. And Mayel was still smiling. Also, the people would say, Alicia has a crappy life. Do you not see the house they live in? They live in a mansion. The area is literally called the Manor. The Descend family. She's a multi-millionaire. Oh, she lives a crappy life. Sucker, she lives better than you. Mr. Random Dude commenting on a Steam forum. She lives better than you. And her dad is like a soft spot for her. All she gotta do is be like, please, papa. And then it's like, fine, but this is your 8th and last pony. Thank you, papa. And then she's there riding horses. Again, sucker, here you are walking the street. She riding a pony. Talk about she got a crappy life because she got a burn scar. And her speaking abilities are completely limited. And she's got an eye. She'll go head down to the shop and get her a new glass eye. And put on some good cream or whatever. And do the best she can with her face. Obviously, some damage is permanent. But she's not like that poor man who got crippled by the police in America. And he's disabled from the neck down. Like, he can't do nothing. He can't. You know, he can't have children because he can't have sex. It doesn't work. You know, he can't play video games. He can't even play Expedition 33. She still functions like a proper person. And she got her millions. And even if she's like, gets the smallest share of the air. Well, first of all, Verso's gone. So it's split between her and Claire. And even if she gets the less half. Claire gets 3/4. She gets 1/4. What's 1/4 of a multi-million dollar family? You're still a millionaire. She go hop on a jet ski. We already got her a swimsuit. I unlocked her a swimsuit in the game. She jumping a jet ski and she's just having a time of her life. Hair flowing in the wind, flashing through the sky. You know, having a good time. You know, she heads down to the theater. She can watch whatever show, movie she wants. Tomorrow she can let you go and buy an Xbox Series X and get Ultimate Game Pass and start playing Doom: The Dark Ages and kill some demons. Sucker, she's living an amazing life. She's living a life that the majority of the world is fighting to try and make money to get to that point. What you mean, Mayel living a crappy life? Shut up! Stop laughing. She's living a better life than you. Get out of here living a crappy life. She's living a good life. And on top of all that, she can paint. She's a paintress. She can literally create whole new worlds. And then spend time with some of them and like do whatever she wants and give them life. So she's like... She's got a loving dad and a loving family. After they grieve and come together, the rest of the family members embrace her as they should, as she's also suffering too, because he's dead because of her. She's also, like I said, the mother never disregarded her pain. She says her pain is a broken mirror. She acknowledges her pain. Her daughter's suffering too, right? So not only does she have a loving family who does love her, just emotional mad right now, except for the dad. She's also a multi-millionaire, and she has godlike powers that she can just paint and create things that hop in there. And you're talking about she has a crappy life? No, she sounds like a spoiled 16-year-old brat. Face reality. Living with your paint friends while your family suffers. When you have a life? And her ending was made perfectly clear visually that it's the bad one. Poor Verso did not want to come back. And she forced him to come back and said, play that piano. Poor Verso struggling, so he didn't want this. He's not happy. And the real Verso, the sliver of his soul, the half of his soul, the full of his soul, I don't care. Whatever it is, that's him there. She's forcing him to continue to paint. That poor boy, suffering for eternity, forced to paint until she died. And Verso playing that piano, and she knows everything's fake, everything's controlled. The face of the people outside are all the same. There's no variety because she can't remember what they look like. It's to the best of ability to try to recreate fake fantasy world Lumiere. It's like mind control. That's not right. That's not the good ending. The good ending's to face reality. Now, yes, if the perfect middle ground ending would have been if Alicia and Aline would get off that chroma canvas crack. Yeah, that crack is the good stuff, apparently. Like, Aline comes and scratches her arm, telling her husband how she needs the canvas. She wants the canvas. Renoir's like, she's like, Aline, we talked about this. It's not good for you. And she's like, move, you old fool. I want the canvas. Scratching her arm still. No needle, but she's still scratching her arm. Like, they're on that chroma canvas crack. And that's what's stopping it. If they were on that crack and they willingly left the world, did their duties, and just sometimes you came back to visit, there wouldn't be a problem. But especially the wife, they have shown that they can't let go. It has consumed them like a drug. And Renoir being, because he was shown as the villain at the start, especially fake Renoir, so you end up hating him, being mean. But he's being a W dad, and more importantly, a W husband. Sucker, which one of y'all gonna watch your wife die? Watch your daughter die? It's like you said, even if you're mad at me, I'm just gonna have to, take that L, but I'm gonna save your life. I'm the same way. I'm not watching both of y'all die. Heck nah. I'm about to get my wife in a chokehold and be like, I warned you, woman. Like, drag her out the painting head first. Like, get you. Ooh, I didn't marry you for this. You mean it's painting so long, but you know what? I'm telling you, bro. He's being a W man of the family. He is. So if you pick Mayel's side, Mayel is doing, basically enslaves Verso, tortures her brother's true soul, lives amongst puppets and controls because she's like the god of it, low-key demigod of it, and she's going to kill herself and die, and when she's gone, the people in the canvas are going to die anyways regardless. Or pick the Verso option, face reality, grieve with the family, move on, and she can go on to make other paintings, because that's what Verso said to her when she was fading out after he beat her. Verso said, when he's calming down, she's hyperventilating, she was panicking, she was scared. He was like, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. He was being the big brother. Because he knows her for real, because he has Verso's real memory. He is the big brother. He consoled his sister, and he said, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I noticed her breathing started to slow down. And he's like, you're a painter. You will never live a life you don't want. He's basically saying, you can create whatever you want. You can create gorgeous, better worlds. And have fun in them. You have nothing to worry about. And girl, you got the bank. I saw that credit card. I peeked the numbers. I know you told me not to look, but I saw them digits. Do you know how many zeros is behind that one? He knows. And he says, it's gonna be okay. Go and paint. Think about it. If anyone deserves to have a say, it's Verso. Verso has the memories and the stuff of the real Verso. And the way how he is pained seeing his mother suffer, because nobody would have cared if it was just a painting, but because he has Verso's memories, that meant something to him. He saw mommy struggling and mommy dying. He couldn't stand it. He was horrified. When he saw his mother come in a second time to help them fight against Renoir, and it was like, Emile was like, please help, and mother came back in, and Renoir was like, Aline, what are you doing? It's too soon for you to return. Are you trying to kill yourself? He's just like, what is wrong with you people? Is the painting this addictive? And she's there gasping, struggling for air. Darth Vader looking at her breathing like, dang, and I thought I had it bad. Like this is bad. And he wants this all to stop. Remember, Verso, the real Verso, gave his life so that his baby sister can live. That's what he did. He gave his life so his baby sister can live. And now you're telling the baby sister to throw away her life. Look, man, I'll say this right now. I've applied this to different things before. Do not spit in the face of people who are willing to die for you. Do not spit in the face of people and disregard the will of a person who gave their life for you. If your big brother died for you so that you can live because he wanted you to live, giving his life, even though he was more talented than you, and would have been of more direct use to the family as the only son to pass under the Sandler name. He gave his life for you, which even Clair was mad about. He gave his life for you. How dare you throw it away because you want to play and live with your Sims people and kill yourself? That alone should tell you got the bad ending. Pick Verso's ending and choose life. He whooped his sister. He gave her the beating Renoir her dad never gave her. He took out the belt and beat her good and said, get out of here. He sent out so that she can live. Someone gave their life for me. Shout out to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Someone gave their life for me. I'm gonna respect what they want. Berries, blueberries. At the very least, you owe them that. Because I bet if you was gonna throw your life away like a week later after I saved you, sucker, I wish I could rewind back time. I never would have saved you in the first place. Because I was gonna go live, get a wife, clap her cheeks, have children, and advance the family with more business. If you're gonna throw your life away, I would have given my life to save you. I would have left you to die then if that's the case, and you would have got no choice in the end. And speaking of Verso, nobody, not even the people who picked Mayel in the original arguments, not one of them mentioned the real Verso or cared about what he wants. This is Verso's canvas. It's not Mayel's. It's not Renoir. It's not Aline's. It's not Clair. Clair spent good time and it helped. But the creator and founder of this canvas is Verso. And nobody asked Verso what he wanted. The only one who asked real Verso what he wanted was the fake Verso. And he said, you're tired of painting, aren't you? And the little boy lifts up his head. You see how slow he's moving? He's tired. He's aching. And he nods. Yes, he's tired. And he said, it's time to go. And then Mayel slashed at the hands like, nope. Hey, you get back to painting. Verso, stay out of this. You know, like, she turns feral. Well, not feral, but you know what I mean. She's forcing them to continue to torture our brother's soul. This is not Mayel's canvas. It's his canvas. And if he says he wants it to stop, you must respect his wishes and it must stop. So I'll give you an example. That's like saying, because you're being a brat, you're deciding what to do with your brother's laptop. It's your brother's laptop. If he wants to sell the laptop, if he wants to break the laptop, if he wants to update the laptop, exchange it for another laptop, power up, shut it down, charge, it's his decision because it's his laptop. You don't get to decide. It's not just a brother, it's a big brother. It's his canvas. Nobody mentions, only when the logical people picking Verso mentioned real Verso. That's when the people picking Mayel finally mentioned real Verso. In none of their original arguments, not one of them mentioned real Verso. His decision matters. The bravado and the audacity of some people. Nobody ever asked or cared what Verso wanted. Only fake Verso asked Verso. Now don't get me wrong, I understand where Mayel people are coming from. I spent over 70 hours with those characters, building bonds with them, rank 7, relationships, and a little action happened with a certain character, I will say so myself. Some fun in the night. And, you know, stuff like that. And when you feel all that, that's real to you. To you, it's real, and you know them, you're bonded with them. You don't want to say goodbye to them. So I do understand that perspective. But if we're going to be logical, face reality, they're not real. It's a painting world. You must go home. Remember, Mayel only thinks it's real because she was overpainted by her mother when she fell in, and she thought that she was born and raised in Lumiere, when in reality, she belongs out there with the real people. So even her way of thinking is distorted, because she was distorted. She was. And it is like, you know, a sad situation. I mean, the whole thing, you know, it is sad. You don't want to say goodbye, and when they were all waving at her from the other side of the grave and all of that, and she smiled. That was a lovely thing. It was lovely. And I think they've done such a good job. The fact people are proper talking and arguing over this and going in about these arguments and stuff like that, gosh, it shows that they did such a darn good job. They really did. They did a wonderful job with the story. So no, I don't think they dropped the ball at the end. I don't think so. I think they did a good job through and through. And it is sad. It is unfortunate for Ciel and Lune, because it's like, what were we fighting for? What were we fighting for? We did all this struggle, thinking about defeating the Painters, the expeditions that failed before us. We've seen so much death and graves and funerals and gamages just for us to get wiped to the end. That's not fair. And it's true, it's not fair. But there's a lot of things in this life that's not fair. Taxes, the rich getting away with crimes, corrupt politicians, corrupt police officers. Some people in the world living in areas where they have to poop in the streets, like places in India, and there's sickness and high rape crimes and brutal things happening. Then you got the prison state of North Korea, where people are put in labor camps and being tortured and even sexually abused and forced indoctrinated. You got the people in the Chinese camps, where we saw with the Uyghur Muslims and stuff like that, and the tortures and stuff has been happening to them. That floating village in Africa where the people are submerged, they're in water, their place where they live got flooded, and everything's wet, and it's just not living situation. The government has failed them. That's not fair either. There are a lot of things like this that's not fair, but there's some things are how they are. Whether it's because of people above us in terms of certain powers or whatever it is. You have to face the reality. And I liked what they did with the story. I liked what they did with it. So again, I think it's just a clear no-brainer. I think it's a clear no-brainer. And now that she's out and she can paint, she can move on, get better at what her skills, make new worlds, get back to having a good bond with Clair. Because Clair's got some learning to do as well. The husband and wife, they embraced each other and they were smiling, they were happy, and they relied on each other so they can grieve and move forwards. Come on. I mean, the husband was being tortured because you see what was happening to his family. Alicia was suffering. Verso was suffering all that time. Aline was suffering. Clair showed the least, but she's seeing what's happening to the family, and she's probably the most burdened because she had to handle everything outside the canvas world and stuff like that. And they did a very good job of it. So yeah, I do think it's clear. I do think there's an obvious good ending and a bad ending. One ending is in fantasy and control and keeping the brother's soul being tortured till you eventually died and the whole canvas is doomed along with you. With a broken family and people watching you suffer. You don't want to watch your loved ones suffer. The other one is, yes, it's going to hurt right now, but you're going to get peace. You're going to get, be able to be a family again, work together, grieve, move on. And I saw people talking about bringing up simulation theory and all this stuff. And I was like, I'm not interested in that bullcrap. The simulation theory is almost as dumb as the Big Bang Theory. It's just I just don't want to hear that crap. We're not talking about simulation theory. We're talking about this game. And it's not no ifs or buts. There is no theory or what if. No, in Expedition 33, they made it perfectly clear. This is a fake world, and it was created by this group known as the the Painters. So those people know they're not real. They may be close to sentient in terms of their behavior, but they're not truly sentient. They're just programmed to be that way. And that's how I know the way how people are in their feelings picking Mayel, which is ironic because Mayel's decision is also based on feelings as a naive 16-year-old. Right? It just shows how doomed this world is. That's how I know this world is not ready for AI. I'm telling you, they're working on making that stuff better. Can you imagine what happens when they're not perfect, but they get much better with virtual reality? Not you put on a headset and it's clear you're inside a thing in your eyes and your head. No, I mean, you can enter these worlds and interact with things and stuff like that. They're gonna have worlds so good. Can you imagine being in Power World for real? These people are going to spend 12 hours a day in those worlds and not come out. They're going to forget to bath. They're going to forget to poop. Like your husband's got to wipe your butt for you because you're not getting up from that seat. Like all this nonsense. These people are doomed. They're going to create these worlds and live in there, especially the gooners. Dear gosh, surround themselves with 2B and Chun-Li and have a field day. Bruh, creeps. But like it's these, y'all are not ready for this stuff. If you're willing to say, oh, it's better for me to be happy and die in a painting, dear gosh, you're selfish and not that's logical at all. Emotional nonsense. Like, this is crazy. It shows the world is not ready for this stuff. And wow, what happens when you think the time comes when they make androids, like robots, like, and they look like 2B from Near Automata. They look like 2B, A2, they look like Chun-Li, and then they have built to make, like, feel like humans. They feel like you're touching a woman's skin, and they have robots have inbuilt vaginas. What do you think this lonely epidemic of men crisis gonna do? They're gonna buy them androids off the shelf, and people will always buy above their means when they desperately tell themselves they want something. They'll say, "Oh, they got the paychecks that are paying rent. They'll buy a 2B android so it can be the maid at their place. They already know what they're gonna do with that thing, and those robots can't get pregnant. You already know real life women. Y'all time is coming up. I'm just saying, you better not be too high picky with your standards because I'm telling you, you're gonna be left behind. Like the fact that people already playing a video game and it's so darn good, they sucked in and picking Mayel. Tells me when they bring the real stuff, real simulations where you could enter in and real life-like women, 2B and A2 models that you could purchase and have stay at your house, AI girlfriends, dear gosh, because that's what it is. It's simulation. It's not real. Yes, you're clapping that 2B's cheeks, but it's not a real person. It's an android. Like the way how AI is going, you can make it sound like you're having a conversation. I've had conversations with AI. I've sat there and had a full-on theological debate with GPT, and I had no settings on it. I don't even have like an account made on it. I was just using it. So there's no saved personalized settings or anything. I full-on, through my intelligence, beat the AI in a debate, and I debunked Islam to the AI. Completely debunked it. The AI fought back in a way that reminded me of a Muslim guy that I was talking to one time, and we had a friendly, well-mannered conversation. And it got to the point where, like with the AI, I backed him into a corner, basically. And it's like, no matter what answer you give right now, you're hoed. You're done. And he admitted, yeah, I don't have the answers for this. I something I have to look more into. Yeah, good talk. We shook hands and we went our own way, right? The AI had to admit, yeah, this is definitely contradictions, or this is a problem. Hopefully, scholars can look into this, and then a defense is made. The AI had to admit it didn't have an answer, and it lost. If you were to look at that conversation, and I did not tell you it was an AI, and we instead of giving the AI voice like, "Thank you for starting up the day," like no, it talked like an actual person. You would think it's a real person I'm talking to. I had a real debate with a real person, but no, it was AI. Just because they act like a real person, it does not mean they're real. They don't have souls. And just because someone claims the soul of a man, some people just talk about it like in a philosophical nonsense, not like an actual literal soul, like how the Bible talks about the soul and the spirit. The word of God sharpened into any two-edged sword, dividing of bone and marrow and soul and spirit. That kind of thing. They're just not real. That's what it comes down to. Are you going to pick fake creation and The Sims and AI over your real family? Especially when it's going to kill you, enslave your brother, and go against your brother's wish who gave his life for you. That's what you're picking when you pick Mayel. Forcing Verso to paint, forcing fake Verso to play piano. Everyone else is your puppet. You are dying, and your family is grieving, and the whole canvas that you want to fight for is going to be gone eventually. That's what you get when you pick Mayel. You can't win. Pick reality and move forwards. So yeah, woo! It's coming up to an hour right now. I tell you, there's more I can say. I got passionate about it too. I like it, man. I mean, these people are still arguing, and some of them are just repeating themselves. The Mayel people. Oh my goodness, man! And like people forgetting she can just make another world. Oh gosh, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. I mean, I'm just looking at it right now. Is it bruh? He literally destroys the canvas the moment she's kicked out in Verso ending. What are you talking about? He is not just worried about her. He's worried about Aline too. Exactly, because that's his wife. That's his, his top priority. And they're still going back and forth typing essays. It's ridiculous. But it's just, yeah. Verso takes real Verso's hand and walks away with him, and it's like, it's time to stop painting. Let's go. And the moment he stops, They then gomage away and canvas is gone. They go to reality. The moment they're out, that's it. So, yeah, simply put, once again, Verso's the good ending. It makes sense. Mayel's ending is the bad ending. If we're being mature about it, if we're being adult about it, Verso's is the better ending. Which last part I want to quickly discuss is, so where do they go from now? Where does Soundfall Interactive go from now? Because they have created a universe that's actually room to explore. Are we now going to get the sequel? It's going to be set in a world made by a writer, so we get to see the writer's side of things, what's happening with the Writers Association. So is it going to be a world created by writers and we live in that? And because these are stories made up by people. Like, I've made dungeon crawler stories, I've made sci-fi stories. This could be a story that takes place in a completely different setting. It could be like the Callisto Protocol or Dead Space, where it's a space survival story. It could be medieval setting where there's demons overrunning and evil goblins that's killing the men and molesting the women. All this kind of thing, like Guts, Berserk. It could just be a regular people's story. Like, where do we go to? Because if it's by their writings, like we saw, it could be anything. Or is the next game going to take place and we're going to see more of the beef between the painters and the writers? Which makes you wonder, so is it about people who create stories or create art? Is there a group of people who work with music? Are they called the composers? What about people who work with computers? Are they the programmers? So is there 4 groups of people? Or is it just literally just painters and writers? There's a lot. And there's so much in this game that they actually do not fully explore as well. So there's a lot to look into it. There's a lot. And quickly. Yo, Expedition 60. Some people are calling them the Chad Expedition. Read Expedition 60's journal, man. Yo, those boys are wild. I like it. Yeah, I like it, bro. I like it. Oh, it's amazing. Oh, it's amazing. But yeah. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about the endings. Let me know what you guys think about, like, what's going on and stuff like that, and the true ending, the fake ending, and what was happening to, like, you see the damage around. I still can't get over the damage around Mayel's face when she's sitting in that theater. And yes, if we talk about canon, someone said there's no canon ending. The canon ending again would be Versus ending, because one, with the Versus ending there will be a continuation, and if they actually was the box, Mayel versus Verso wins. Yes, Mayel, lore-wise, she overrides the most power without the Gamage and stuff, but that takes time to do. The Gamage isn't instant. Even when you use a gradient level 3 ability Gamage, she extends her hand, takes a while, and then she activates the Gamage. My response to that, have you seen how fast Verso is? Have you seen? I got the game up here right now. I'm going to Verso. Let me go to Verso. What was his moves again? When he does Phantom Stars, when he does Light Holder, or when he does Steel Strike, this man moves so fast with his strikes, you can't see him move. When he's got that kind of speed, he's gonna blitz you before you can Gamage anyone. And plus, Verso has the combat experience. He has the mature experience, being there like 100 years of combat, fighting accents and all this kind of stuff. This man is just too fast. He will cut you down before you can Gamage him. So if they were actually going to fight, because I was actually going to do a battle matchup where all 5 characters were going to see who's like the strongest, who will come out top. Matchups, unfavorable matchups versus unfavorable matchups. We know Lune can fly, and Minoko can just turn into a freaking golem, you know, stuff like that, and Mayel can just Gamage you out of here, right? You know, I like to talk about that. But in terms of a versus matchup, I think Verso's just too fast. I think the way how we saw fake Renoir cut off the head of our captain at the start of the game when we landed on the continent, I just cut his head off and it was done. Verso would just do the same thing to Mayel. He'll just zoom and just split her in half so quickly. I don't think she will keep up with that speed. So if we're talking about canon ending, they were to fight to decide to fade the canvas, Verso wins. Verso would just win. He's just too fast. He'll just cut her, lethal, done. Get her out the canvas, and then Renoir, nuke it, and then they move on. And that's what I think. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there, guys. I know there's more things I could have said. I could have gone into certain more details about like the lives of certain characters and stuff like that. I just wanted to talk about the 2 endings, where it goes, what it really means. Respect Verso's choice. And the real Verso has the ultimate choice. Fake Verso, having memories, also has a say. He's been living for so long, immortal. People talk about, I agree with Markiplier when he says living forever, being immortal will actually be a torture, be a horrible thing. But then when Verso doesn't want to live forever, he wants to die now, he's selfish. Okay, yeah, it doesn't make sense. I don't want to see you agree with Markiplier and his silly point of view ever again, right? Have an awesome day, everyone, regardless of what's going on. Make sure to do the Earthwalk, and I'll see you guys around.